All right, shalom, family.
Shalom.
Hey, praise y'all. Once again, praise y'all for allowing us to make it onto another new moon, a new month. For those that are out there that's listening, that's not actually used to seeing me, Eli Ben Israel, and praise y'all for allowing me to be able to come before you this night. And the title of today's sermon is called "Preparing for Battle." And when many of us hear about preparing for battle, we think about getting our guns and getting knives and getting food, getting the things that protect yourselves, to sustain yourselves naturally and physically. But what about being sustained mentally and spiritually? Being protected mentally and spiritually. This is a question for everyone, is what are you fighting for? And at the end of the battle, something is going to be accomplished, whether it be life given to you or it's going to be death given unto you. But at the end of the day, we all have to consider, what are we preparing ourselves for, and what are we fighting for? We can go ahead and turn to Matthew's chapter 4. We're going to start from verse 1 to 11. That's Matthew's chapter 4, and we're going to read from verse 1 to 11. Now, we have some, serious times ahead of us, and this is something that we've read several times. But the thing about it is, sometimes we do lose focus, and we got to make sure, Yazoo, we stay focused, because we do have some times that is coming. It's going to take a lot more than just dealing with things naturally and physically. All right, go ahead, my brother.
Then was Yahshua led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, If you be the Son of Elohim, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of El.
Now, it is written, man should not live by bread alone. Now, we know that it is necessary that the body has to be fed. But at the end of the day, we do have another way that's more important for us to be fed. And when I first got into the word, and praise Yah for allowing me to start gaining understanding and realizing what's written, and actually being able to see throughout the years what's been going on throughout the world, and what all these other the religions and all that been doing. And I was wondering what was going on. Being able to understand, praise Yah, what's written, and coming out from the world and actually being able to see what's going on in the world all these years. It was kind of crazy for me to see that they were not dealing with thus saith Yahweh. And this is one of the ways that how we are able to overcome certain situations, by being able to understand the words that proceed out of the mouth of Yah. Now, we grow up realizing, well, some of us realize what our parents taught us as paganism. Some of us realized the lies and stopped. Some of us just continued. It's written. But you in the world, be you in the world, but be not of the world, Yahshua says. But in vain they worship me, teaching the doctrines of men. There's a battle against the flesh by the Spirit. And there's a battle against the spirit by the flesh, but not living by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yahweh, we are losing a different battle that Satan does not want us to win. So, we know that there's a lot of people out there that's receiving words from their pastor. And when you do talk to someone, they will say, well, my pastor says. That's not according to scripture what they're saying though. So really and truly, man should not live by bread alone, which is needed, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yah, which is very important for us, because we do have situations that we have to deal with, that it's going to take knowing the word, having that word within you. So preparing for battle is not just having physical and natural things. It's also spiritual. Go ahead, my brother.
Verse 5. Then the devil takes him up into the holy city and sets him on a pinnacle of the temple and says unto him, If you be the son of El, cast yourself down, for it is written, He shall give his angels charge concerning you, and in their hands they shall bear you up, lest at any time you dash your foot against a stone. Yahshua said unto him, It is written again, You shall not tempt the Adonai your Elohim.
Now, the power that Yahshua has right now, where Israel is within him, the son of Yah, if he would have asked, he could have asked for Michael to come to deal with Satan. That's and the reason why I'm saying this is because not all the time the power that you have in your hand has to be dealt with you taking out your physical sword. It can be dealt with. The situation, can be dealt with by you just dealing with the spirit, with someone, speaking to someone. Now understand the power that Yahshua has right there and what he could have done. But at the end of the day, not because any one of us have the power in our hands to do something physically, that we have to do it. So that's just going to show that, preparing for battle, or the battle does not always have to be physical. Go ahead, my brother.
My brother, there's also a saying that most battles or most wars begin in the head. The fight starts in the head.
Exactly.
So if a man can overcome you and get you off your game, you've already lost anyway. Mm-hmm. So, like you're saying, getting into this word and having this word richly inside of you, you can keep someone from getting in your head, because that's what Satan is doing right here. Exactly. Satan is trying to get in his head.
Exactly. Yeah, go ahead, my brother.
Verse 8. Again, the devil takes him up into an exceeding high mountain and shows him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and says unto him, All these things will I give you, if you will fall down and worship me.
Now, you consider that. Now, we know from what Lucifer is saying, we know the power that was given unto him. But then, the power that was given unto him is only for a time. It has an end. So, the same thing as we continue to read, we see how he's tempting Yahshua, trying to overcome and destroy that flesh, to destroy that body. But at the end of the day, Yahshua still keeps coming and saying to him and dealing with him by the Spirit, not by the power that he has, that and what he can do, but yet still, he's still dealing with Satan by the Spirit, and not by exerting the power that's in his hand. So that, going back to what I was saying before, not because you're in the situation where the power is in your hand, that you should always consider to do something physically. But by the word, as we can see, Yahshua was able to overcome And that's a different way to battle. Go ahead, my brother.
Verse 10. Then says Yahshua unto him, Get you hence, Satan, for it is written, You shall worship the Adonai your Elohim, and him only shall you serve. Then the devil leaves him, and behold, angels came and ministered unto him.
Why choose something to rule over that has an end to it? Why would I fight something or live for something that at the end of my life, it would have been all in vain? Understand something. For if Yahshua had his trials to go through and bear, who are we to think we are not going to be tried? We have more trials and tribulations that are coming our way. That is going to be more than just trying to our flesh, but also trying to our faith. If we can go to Ephesians chapter 6, and we're going to read verse 1 through 18. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1 through 18.
Verse 1. Children, obey your parents in the Adonai, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with you, and you may live long on the earth.
Now see, verse 1 said, children, obey your parents. There's not a period right there. It doesn't end. It says, children, obey your parents in the Adonai. So there's a way how we're supposed to teach our children. There's a way how we're supposed to grow our children in the Adonai. So there's a structure that's already there, how we were supposed to deal with our children. But in the society that we are living in now, and those that are that rule over us, the system of things is not that way at all. So, you know, if we had continued to allow the household to live as thus saith Yah, the strength of our families within the spirit of Yah would be stronger. But we have the blind leaders saying the law is done away with. Then our families, trusting these blind Sunday teachers, end up leading their families in the way of darkness, making it seem right. The Sunday mega churches don't care. Really and truly, yo, they do not care about our well-being, about your future. If they did, they wouldn't hold back the truth from us. By not knowing the truth of Yah, our families have been spiritually weakened, being led into a ditch. Go ahead, my brother.
You know, in verse 1 there, you pointed out a jewel. Children, obey your parents. And like you said, there's no period in the Adonai. Mm-hmm. And we get that all the time where, you know, the pagan mother or father will throw that at you. Scripture says, honor thy father and mother. Okay, let's go back to where it says, in the Adonai. Mm-hmm. Are you walking in the truth?
Exactly.
Then I ain't got to listen to you.
There's a structure that's right there, how we supposed to live, point blank. I mean, we know the commandments are there, but yet still, you know, if we, from the beginning, and I know our ancestors did what they did, and if we praise Yah, we know what we know now, because we can make that change. We can make that change, and we should make that change, because at the end of the day, there's nothing better for us. It says, seek ye the kingdom first, and all else will be added on to you. There's a kingdom that's coming. That's why I say, yo, we have to consider, what are we fighting for? What are we looking for? Because at the end of the day, there's something better. That's that we have to deal with. Even though we're dealing with certain things right now, and I know all of us have our own dealings, all of us have our own plate. But at the end of the day, we can't lose our focus, because there is a new kingdom that's coming. There is a righteous kingdom that's coming. And if we don't do what we're supposed to do, we're not going to be a part of that. Then why would this walk here, why would you continue in this walk here in vain? So, you're very right, my brother. I say there has to be a structure.
The sad thing about the walk is that some people come in and they still want to bring that mindset of what they were taught in paganism and think somehow you'll be able to mesh it in with this and it's still going to be okay. And that's where a lot of people's trip and falls and stumbles are, is because they just can't realize, if I just let this go, then I'll be able to move on. But you're still dragging it,
right,
and thinking you're going to make it mesh and you're going to make it fit, and it doesn't fit.
Right.
So now you're stomping your own self because you can't figure out why it doesn't fit.
Yeshua said, but in vain they worship me, teaching the doctrines of men. And that's the thing that we got to get ourselves away from. The doctrines of men, the things that men has taught us. And praise Yah, we know what we know now. But at the end of the day, like I said, I've seen a lot of people within this walk lose their way. So preparing for the battle is not just being able to feed yourself with bread. Because at the end of the day, I've seen so many people, that's lost their way. Why is that? Not having every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yah to be in them. Like, what was your focus? Go ahead, my brother.
Verse 4, and you fathers, provoke not your children to anger, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Adonai.
Bam. Again. Of who? The Adonai. Go ahead, my brother.
Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh, with fear and trembling, in singleness of your heart, as unto the Anointed One. Not with eye service, as men pleasers, but as the servants of Yahshua, doing the will of Elohim from the heart, with goodwill doing service, as to the Adonai, and not to men. Knowing that whatsoever good thing any man does, the same shall he receive of the Adonai, whether he be bond or free. And you masters, do the same things unto them, forbearing threatening, knowing that your master also is in heaven, neither is there respect of persons with him. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Adonai, and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Elohim, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
The fight that we have is much more stronger than just flesh. The fight that we have is much more stronger than meets the eye. When you see someone behaving in a certain way, not all the time you got to consider, okay, well, this person here is entertaining something. That's a fight within itself that a lot of people don't overcome. But at the end of the day, that's why, when it talks about, your brother sinning against you, how many times you forgive your brother. You can't always, we all fall short at the end of the day, man. We all fall short. And when we see somebody behaving in a certain way, we got to understand too, not everybody have the same strength to overcome a situation that they're going through. But at the end of the day, if we allow ourselves truly, and it's easy to say, to become closer to Yah. Nah, saying and doing is a totally different thing. For we know it's written, for not the hearers of the law are just before Yah. The doers is the ones that's going to be justified. It's the doers. And that's the thing where I saw where a lot of people fell off during this walk. Just being forgetful hearers. Not doing what they should have done to continue in this path. The battle that we may be going through now may be something, but we have a far greater battle that's coming that when Satan is loosed. We are going to need the protection of the Most High Yah. It's written, to him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and am set down with my Father in his throne. Even after getting our baptism, please don't think the battle is over. The war against the spirit by flesh and the war against the flesh by the spirit starts over in a new way after being baptized. Now, being that we have more understanding, now we're held more accountable. So there we go as far as making sure that Yah's will, we prepare for the battle to come. For it's far more than just flesh and blood that we wrestle with. Go ahead, my brother.
You know, like you're saying, the battle continues to change, and the people that fall off is, you know, a lot of times you get comfortable in thinking you're okay now.
Yes.
And, you know, I was talking to Brother Michelle earlier today.
Yes.
And he was saying, you know, how the fight continues to change. I say, you know what, let's stop. When you're sparring, right, do you continue to use the same combinations every time? Because if you do, your opponent's going to figure it out. Your opponent's not going to use the same combinations on you every time because you're going to figure it out. You've got to switch it up. So if you don't have your mind open to the fact that the adversary is going to switch up on you and you think, all right, I've overcome this, and you've got comfortable, you're going to fool yourself. I think what we keep forgetting in the situation with Yahshua and the temptation, it says the devil left him for a season. It didn't say it left him forever.
No.
For a season.
Right.
So now when he comes and says, for those who overcome, will I grant to sit with me in my throne just as I overcame. Let's go back and look at everything that he went through. Go back and look at all the ridicule and persecution and the slapping and the spitting and the threatenings that he went through. And then understand why he says for those who overcome, because he went through a lot.
Right, my brother. All right, go ahead.
Verse 13. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of Elohim, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with preparation, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked.
Now listen, everything is being said right here, how we need to prepare for a different type of battle. Go ahead, my brother.
And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Elohim.
Going back to what we just talked to about before in Matthew's. By every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Elohim. That is something that we got to make sure that we not only instilling in someone who we talking to, but make sure that it's instilled in us. If we supposed to be children of Yah, then we have to have the word of Yah in us. We got to be mindful of that. We have more brothers and sisters out there, more than us, that call themselves Israel, but yet still, they're not dealing with the whole truth. Now, there's a saying about the truth shall set you free, which is written. But they also say the truth hurts. But if the truth that sets you free is something that we need, though it may hurt, why not grab onto it? Why not do what thus saith Yahweh if, even though, yeah, the truth hurts, but yet still, if it's the truth that's going to set you free, receive it. It says, he that have an ear, let them hear what the Spirit says unto the churches. We have to have that open ear, yeah, as well. Go ahead, my brother.
Verse 18, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints.
That was it. Now, praying always with all prayer and supplications in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. There's, again, I'm going to say, there's no period right there. And it says, and supplication. It says for all saints. So once you take on to this walk, understand something. We're not just preparing a battle for yourself. You're not just in this battle for self. Because understand something. You have brothers and sisters out there. You have strangers that's out there that is going to need to hear the truth. Yahweh didn't call us for no reason. Yahweh didn't just allow us to have this little sanctuary where we can come together and have a holy convocation for no reason. So, us learning and receiving the word of Yahweh, as we read in verse 18, for all saints, at the end part, for all saints. So what we learning and what we receiving and we pray, if anybody in here is praying for self, then we need to understand what the situation is that we're dealing with and what's coming. Because at the end of the day, even it's written that the love shall cover the multitude of sins. Yahshua magnified love. It's not just keeping the commandments, but he asked Peter 3 times, yo, do you love me? He said, feed my sheep. So if you're considering yourself, which we have to, but if you're just considering yourself that within this walk, that's the only thing that you're considering and not learning to be able to tell somebody the truth, a brother, a sister, a stranger, because at the end of the day, we have a greater battle that's coming. And we have others out there who are believing in something else and not believing in the whole truth. And if we have it, we have to tell them. If we supposed to be like a watchman, we supposed to let the people know the truth. All right, let's go ahead and turn to Revelations chapter 21, and we're going to read verse 1 through 8. Revelations chapter 21, verse 1 through 8. Now, as we getting into Revelations 21, I said before at the beginning, what are you fighting for? So as we read this, just meditate on these things like, yo, these are the things that we supposed to be seeking for, preparing ourselves for. And again, what are you fighting for? Understand that. Go ahead, my brother.
Revelation chapter 21 and verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, Yohanan, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Elohim out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of Elohim is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and El himself shall be with them, and be their And Elohim shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And he that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new.
All things new. So why work towards something that has an end? Why work towards something that's vain? Why even prepare yourself to fight for something that is vain, that has an end? Right here, he's going to make something. He's going to make all new. If we want a part of that, we got to make sure that we do what thus saith Yahweh. And that's a different way for us to prepare for battle. Because at the end of the day, we have a greater battle that's coming, and Satan does not want us to win. If you know if you know you're on death row, and at the end of the day, you know that there's nothing else you can do, but you're on death row. And it's written, when he's thrown out of heaven, that he knows that he's gonna have a short time left. He's gonna make war with us, man. He's gonna do everything that he needs to do to make it horrible for us when time comes. So there's greater things, that we have to make sure that we're preparing for. And it's not just being able to sustain yourselves with food, but being able to sustain yourself, as well, with that spirit. Because we have greater things that's coming, my people. And we're going to have to be able to stand firm and not be moved, as well. Go ahead, my brother.
And he said unto me, Write, for these words are true and faithful. And he said unto me, It is done. I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that is athirst of the fountain of water of life freely. He that overcomes shall inherit all things, and I'll be his heir, and he shall be my son. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burns with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. And there came... Go ahead.
That was it. That was it, my brother. All right. We have the whoremongers, murderers, all liars among us. People that are about that life. Not saying, I'm perfect. Not saying any one of us is perfect. We do need to understand, though, that we really have that kind of people out there that are about that life. We might not be about that life, but you have people out there that's about that life, who does not care at all about lying, who are straight whoremongers, don't consider anything about righteousness. You have murderers out there who don't consider nothing about doing anything else but that. That's the life they live. But then, praise Yah, that's not the life, we're trying to choose. Though being not perfect, we do have those people out there that, as well, we still gonna have to go against. So it's not about, like I say, even though still, we're gonna have to have those natural things to protect ourselves physically. But yet still, we're gonna have to make sure we prepare ourselves spiritually to get through these things, because we are going to be tried. Go ahead, my brother.
No, I'm just going to say, you said we have those people out there, and sad to say we have those people in here.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, because you know what, my brother, being a murderer, and truly, being a murderer does not say it has to be bloodshed, actual bloodshed. But then, not steering somebody the wrong way without this word, that's also blood being shed too. So really and truly, my brother, you are right, because like I say, murderers is not just dealing with things physically, but it can be spiritually done too. All right, so they have their own families to lead as we have our own families to lead. Now I'm talking about those, the murderers, the liars, the homemongers, those that are out there. They have families too. So we better know what ground we are standing on, or better yet, is the foundation that you're standing on of Yah. How can we say we love each other, love our families, and lead them down a path that is littered with lies, vanity, and pain at the end? A new start is coming. A better rulership is coming. This is worth the sacrifice and the fighting for. But praise Yah for, it's, like I say, it's going to be short. Praise Yah for allowing us to be able to take part in this new moon. But we do need to understand that we do have a greater battle that's coming. And I know all of us have our own things that we're dealing with in our day-to-day life. But at the end of the day, Yah's will be done. And if we're going to be a part of it, we got to do with the things that's necessary so Yahweh will allow us to make it through the great tribulation that's coming. And that's all I'm going to do tonight. Shalom, family.
Shalom.
All right, praise Yah.